Or you can have this kind of more luxurious ones. These are the Korean national flag symbol, yin and yang. But I want to tell you one thing. If you read the description really carefully, you understand what mother of pearl is, right? And tortoise shell, you also understand, right? From the tortoise, sea tortoise. But then what about this? Shark skin. So in Korea, people use the shark, like the fish shark, or ray, R-A-Y, ray skin, and they again minced it small pieces, and then they dyed well. So the red ones that you see over here, or green colors that you see over here, these were made of shark skin or ray skin. Like a fish skin can be also material. It's more like a leather surface. So you can create these patterns. This is tortoise shell. You can imagine, right? Like a brownish tortoise shells. And then, but some of them here, these are ray skin. Ray skin can be dyed into these colors and cut them into shape, and then they are placed over here. And then these are metal wires. So metal wires are a little bit more protruding. So different materials. So beautiful, colorful decoration. You have mother of pearl used here, some shiny silver colors, but then they also use this colorful, what is the name of it? Ray skin or shark skins. And then you have metal wires, and so extremely ornate. Their plates will be white porcelain. But then the table is really, really ornate and luxurious. And then they are covered with lacquer. It looks like this. So in Korea, I want you to remember this. There will be a banquet table. Right? When you go to an ostentatious party thrown by the king or somebody really wealthy, it's a banquet. But there is no one single table. Like a dinner table, large dinner table with 10, 12, 20 guests. That's like a European tradition. In Korea, what happens is they each get their own table. It's the same food, but they give them their own bowls and own food separately. So you sit around. There is no central table. You get your own table. So the main host will get a bigger table. I can see he has more kinds, but everybody gets their own table. So that's why when you have a party, you need a lot of these. Maybe you need 50 of them. If you don't have 50 of them, you may borrow from your neighbor, right? So that you have 12. The other guest, friends lent you 12, so you have 48 of them together. So this is actually the respectful dinner party table. And this is a little bit more bigger table so that if somebody's birthday, then the host can sit down and he can have more food in those large tables. I like showing you this kind of other material culture. Usually I only show you, these are very modern, isn't it? It's late 19th century. It's a sort of a painted seashells. So that's possible as well. You don't limit yourself in understanding other people's culture by looking at only a few examples. If you only see these, you may think, oh, Korean people really like the simple design, colors, but they are not. In other categories, they will really, really like splendid things like this. So on top of this, you are going to put a white porcelain, and then you may put colorful flowers. So you need the contrasting elements of it. And then, so that's it for ceramic and the lacquerware. And then the paper, remember the paper? We read a lot about the paper. So a lining of this furniture, of course, you need paper, like the mulberry paper. Sometimes you can use the books. You've read this book many, many times, and you've read it so many times that you may use the paper as a liner. if you put it inside the liner, obviously it protects from the humidity and dust. It's very durable. So this is one example showing us how they recycle the materials. Nothing is wasted. And then in Korea, we don't have many survived buildings. A lot of them were burnt down during the Imjin War, and then they were also burnt down during the Japanese colonial period. They never restored it. But if you go to Damyang, here Damyang is in Jeolla province, about 4 hours away from Seoul. There is one garden that is well preserved from that when was it made, like from the 16th century on, and that is called the Sosue Garden in Damyang. So you can tour it as a tourist these days. So their beauty is you don't alter nature. You preserve it as much as possible, and then this made these pavilions in the middle of the garden. But it's not that you make it flat and put colorful flowers here and there for your own design. That's not the idea. The idea is you preserve the nature and trees as much as possible, so that you just enjoy the nature, not change it. So here, somebody wrote a poem in that beautiful garden, like a Sosue garden, and it's owned by Yang Sanbo, and his friend Kim In-hu came and then talked about the beauty of this garden. So who wants to read this? Should always be, no, it's not fair. So let's see. Angela Valero, can you read this poem for us?
The stems stand straight, proudly despite the snow. Its highest point remaining thin and soft. When the heart of bamboo sprouts up, the new stem will become even greener.
Thank you. So it's about the nature, recycles, it's seasonal changes, and then it's always rejuvenating. So that's the point. You don't change so much in order to make the beautiful scenery. And this aesthetics is also related to architecture. We talked about architecture in the introduction of this class. So you get natural products like wooden timbers, and look at the wooden timbers. Of course, you can straighten them, or you don't want to. You use the natural shape as much as possible. So they got the around the same circumference trees, but they didn't make it long, right? And then they cut them to make the even height. But if the tree trunk has uneven, like let's say this is the example, but you want to, this one is polished stone or polished wooden timber, but let's say you need the stone foundation, right? And then the stone itself is not in the profile. So what do? You try to cut the wooden pillars as much as possible, and then make it suitable for that surface of the rock. You don't want to cut the rock smooth. You'd rather cut the wood for the profile of the existing rock, so that what they are explaining is, instead of making surface, you follow those surface profile, so that if you think about the parameter of these areas is longer than the straight line, so that it actually gives more stability. That's what they are explaining. So Joseon Dynasty, there are actually a dynamic and more comprehensive understanding of nature and the artificiality. And then they both use that simple, aesthetics, but then they also wanted to splurge when it comes to certain visual sensation. So that's what I want to emphasize.